Hello everyone, this is Shannon from That's So Po, and today I'm doing week 37 of my 2023 reads. This week I finished two memoirs, which were both excellent, and I DNF'd a book. Timestamps and content warnings are in the description box below. First, I finished Ma and Me by Putsata Reang. This was such an excellent memoir. I absolutely loved it. It basically is all about Reang's life as well as her relationship with her mother. That's really something that's core to this memoir. She talks about their experiences as Cambodian refugees who moved to the US, to Corvallis, Oregon in the 1970s, about her family's experience sort of living and growing in the US, but also with still very strong ties to Cambodia. But also she talks about the conflicts between her and her mother, who are so close, but there's a wedge between them because Reang is queer, and this is just something so unacceptable to her mom for their kind of Cambodian culture and the expectations of what a good Cambodian daughter does, which is get married to a man. And so just kind of exploring their relationship, exploring also just issues of Cambodian culture and history and the war and genocide that happened in Cambodia, and just so many really incredibly interesting and nuanced discussions. I loved this memoir so much, and I'm gonna have a review for this up later this week if you want to check it out. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I very highly recommend it. And I listened to this on an audiobook, which I thought was fantastic, so I especially recommend the audiobook. Next, I finished Family Style by Thien Pham. This is also a memoir, this time in graphic novel form, that I thought was just so beautifully done. Again, about the refugee immigrant experience, this time for a Vietnamese refugee family who moved to California, also in the 70s from the war. And I think that the way that this is approached, this memoir, it is centered around memories of food. And so Pham does this amazing job of just picking a couple of memories throughout his life related to his experiences, but also connected to food in some way. Sort of both Vietnamese food as well as traditional American food, and how some of these things shaped him growing up. The art style in this I thought was really well done, especially because so much is said through the artwork itself. Not everything is over-explained in text. There's just a lot of emotion that is conveyed through the panels of art, through the expressions, through the space used. It's really well done. I also liked the way that Pham used just kind of tick marks almost to represent language that the characters aren't understanding. And so as he's learning English and trying to adapt, there's still a lot that he can't understand, but every once in a while, a word gets through. So I thought that was really effective. I think that the colors in this and just the way that the artwork is done was really effective. I especially loved the memories that he shares from his childhood in the refugee camp before they came to the US, as well as that acclimation to living in the US. I think that some of the later chapters in this sort of space out his life quite a bit. You miss huge swaths of his experience. So this isn't a comprehensive memoir by any means. And I felt like that lost me just a little bit, but overall I thought this was such a strong memoir. I definitely recommend it. If you like memoirs, if you like graphic novels, for sure pick this up. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. And lastly, I did DNF one book, which was Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie Q. Sutanto. This is a book that I heard about from Cynthia at Book Whimsy, who I will link below. Cynthia always makes me interested in books, and I always want to pick them up when she talks about them because they sound so good. This was one that she had really loved. It is a cozy murder mystery about an older Chinese woman living in Chinatown, I believe in San Francisco, who has somebody who shows up dead in her tea shop one morning, and she's trying to kind of be a little bit interfering, a little bit of a busybody, and doesn't really trust that the police are going to figure things out. This book is something that has a lot of humor in it, but that's kind of where it had its downfall for me. So I got through about 14% of this before I realized that the humor style just wasn't working for me. It's very over the top, and I think that that can be the sort of thing that makes this a very fun romp for so many readers, but for me it just wasn't meshing with my humor style. I found that the characterization of people was so over the top. Everybody was just a little bit absurd in the way that they were described. If, for example, the main character, Vera Wong, she is supposed to be 65, but she's written as if she's even older. She's written as if, she's 80. Just kind of a lot of these quirky older woman sort of activities and habits and things like that. And it's just a little over the top. And that's the sort of thing, again, that can make it so fun for so many readers and just didn't land for me. So definitely, absolutely nothing wrong with this book. And if you read it and you're jiving with the humor style, I bet it's going to be fantastic for you, just not quite for me. Okay, that is everything that I read and DNF'd this week. If you guys have read any of these, if you're interested in them, if you have any thoughts, or if you've read anything good this week that you want to share with me, I'd love to hear from you. Just leave me a comment down below.